If you only knew the week that I've had, not even, if you only knew the year that I've had, the 2 years that I've had, really. And the clock says 222, but there's a 1. It's 12:22, but I see the 222. And that 222 has been kind of everywhere. My car got towed to 2222. 2222. Centinela. I see 222 right here. I saw 222222 outside. What's this 2 about? Self-worth? I don't know. I have grown so much. And I feel like I just saw this Doechii video where she's documenting just like her process. And I genuinely feel like writing is taking on a different form for me. And the practice of using my voice in this way and being seen on camera and seeing myself in this way is the new practice, perhaps. I don't know. I feel like I have filled 5 journals, I think. It's about 5 journals over the course of a year and a half. And I think at this stage in my life, I'm coming into a period now where I'm seeing myself from the outside, which is something that I've always wanted. I've always wanted to see myself clearly from the outside. And I think, frankly, my whole life has been so internal. And it was only up until recently that I really realized how internal it was and how that has started to become a problem. I'm in my mom's house. Shout out. And I have a matching one right there. Yeah. We have matching beauty shots. But I'm at my mom's house because this week I had a really crazy week. It's Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Saturn just moved into Aries, right? This Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Pisces energy just kicks my ass in general. But this in particular has been brutal. I think this is the closest that I've ever been to truly a mental health crisis, I think. I don't know. And I've had a few moments like this, usually when it's time for me to become more present. I've always been a big daydreamer. I've always been a big creator. I see things very clearly in my head. My creativity, I see it very clearly in my head. And I think physicalizing it has always been quite difficult. Or maybe I just haven't had the resources. I haven't had the team. I haven't had anything in that sense to help me bring it to life. And I think now I'm in a time period where I have done so much of the work. I really have done so much of this internal work. And I think this Doechii video that I saw was so crazy because it was she's literally talking about how she's done all this work. And how if she's doing the internal work, that means the external work is happening. And I think I'm in a period where I'm doing a lot of unlearning around personal shame, especially around the ways that I've stood up for myself. And also regret for the ways that I've had to stand up for myself, knowing just what it's like to be on the other side of that. And also at the same time, I'm no longer in existence for other people. I'm no longer in existence to make other people feel good. And frankly, by doing that, I will make more people feel good. This is the dichotomy. I feel like the way that I was taught to be of service is not the service that I really need to be of. And pulling back from that, being more selfish, being more self-focused, will in fact be more of service than anything else. And so I've been doing a lot of unlearning lately around just taking up space and not being afraid of my power. And I think I'm seeing myself very clearly. This is the big thing. I think I've shown up in the world with a radical amount of power, with a radical amount of self-acceptance. And the ways that has been met has really shocked me in a lot of ways. and has really hurt me and has made me like doubt so many things about myself. And frankly, this entire process, the reclamation of soul, the villain challenge that I did, what is really surprising me is that I'm not becoming some new person. I am literally reverting to a version of myself that was so clear in my self-expression, but was not clear in how that was coming across to people. I was so internal. And the journaling, I find too, I've been a writer really my whole life. That writing, that journaling was like me giving life to my internal world. And I think having practiced giving life to my internal world consistently for 2 years, I now feel myself becoming more external. I feel myself becoming more present. And that is both radically terrifying and also like a relief. I'm like, thank you. Like I can finally see myself. Like the fact that I can look at myself and objectively be like, oh, I feel shame, looking at how that might have come across, that actually brings me relief. Because before I was like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I'm not seeing it. Am I missing something? And now I see it. And if I'm noticing the shame, I can address the shame. The shame is a fixable thing. And I had a realization yesterday too that it's like, what I'm so deeply afraid of, I think, is like being embarrassed or having people see me as somebody like embarrassing or as somebody harmful. And the harmful one is like one to put a pin in, but like the embarrassing one, like you cannot embarrass me without my permission. You cannot embarrass me without my participation. If I choose not to participate, I can never be embarrassed. I can literally laugh at myself. I accept every part of myself. I love myself so much to the point where like anything that I've done that's like silly or stupid, I own it. It's mine. And that is something that I want to name that, because 6 months ago, that would not have been the case. 2 months ago, that would have not been the case. Today, that is the case. Now, that point about being seen as harmful is something that is like more terrifying for me. I think that has been the crux of a lot of what I'm working through over the last over this last week. I think that it's what has almost sent me into like a mental health spiral. I'm really terrified of being seen as harmful. And I think every time that I've stood up for myself, I've been seen as harmful, or like there has been verbal affirmations that I am a harmful person. And I think that's usually only because like this, anytime that I've stood up for myself, it has been in relation to other people. And I think I'm very clear when I need to be clear. And this is the thing, this is the dichotomy. I think sometimes the way that I speak is so like rounded and so fluid and so this, that. And sometimes I can be extraordinarily clear. I think because I've had to learn to be clear for my safety, for my literal mental health, to exist in my family. I've had to become very clear. And sometimes I think that is like, sometimes in that clarity, I do wonder if I've like overstepped, simply because I think that clarity really takes people by surprise. And it's very easy to look at that clarity and be like, you're fucking crazy, which a lot of people have said to me. I'm not crazy, you just don't want to look at the truth. And sometimes, like I can't, no, I'm very rarely wrong, but I am cognizant. I like don't want to be that person who's like, oh, I don't know what I'm saying. I kind of like lost my train of thought. Anyway, I feel like I have very much internalized standing up for myself, using my voice will make me be seen as a harmful person. And that's something that I really want to challenge, because it's not that I'm a harmful person. It's that every time that I speak my voice, I step further into my power. I step further into myself. I become a clearer version of myself. And there were plenty of people in my past who did not want me to be clear. There were plenty of people in my past who benefited from my confusion. And now the work really is, it's not about any other person at this point. The work is me and me. Am I going to confuse my clarity? Am I going to make myself confused out of fear? that I may be wrong, or that fear that I may be seen as a harmful person. I think that is really going to be the challenge, is like, well, I wonder how big of a challenge it's really going to be, honestly. Like, I said today, like, I feel like I'm prepping for war, or I feel like I'm prepped for war constantly. I'm always on defense publicly. And I really wonder, like, I really feel like this battle is over. And there's real, like, I don't want to use like clinical terms or anything, but like, I feel like there's real trauma there. And the work is really going to be around believing that I do not have to fight, believing that I can just show up and like create and, you know, go to little events, maybe win an award, talk to some people, and go home. What if that's the life that I'm walking into? What if, like, all of the relationships that are coming into my life now want to come in with like ease and peace and stability? What if all of the people that I meet are genuinely kind and nice people? And at the same time, when situations arise, because I know they will, or when I'm projected on, because I know I will be, when I'm profoundly misunderstood, can I remember that I'm no longer in that battlefield? Can I remember that this era of my life is really one of peace, of joy, of creative, like, fertility? Never in my life have I created this much, this consistently, this like soulfully. Never in my life. Never in my life. I feel like I've like woken up, for real. It's just terrifying because when I get triggered, the triggers are really serious. And I'm noticing that they're only very serious because I'm so internal. And the more external I am, those triggers have less of an impact on me. And so I'm noticing that writing out my feelings actually is no longer benefiting me. I'm being pushed to speak. I'm actually being pushed to sing randomly. Not so randomly. I feel like I've been invited to sing many times in my life. And I feel like now is the time when that's really like aligning. I feel like now that's really the time when it's really aligning. Music has been like the one thing to really calm me down. And that's crazy because a year and a half ago, you could ask my ex, you could ask anybody, I would have said that music is overstimulating for me. A lot of music is or like calm music, any kind of like music is just like overstimulating for me. Not now. Now it's like the one thing that like, it's like helped me sleep many days this week. My life is going to get so good. My life is going to get so good. My life is going to get so good. I'm going to be so happy. I'm going to live the life of my dreams. And I literally said that to my mom today. I was like, I'm terrified. And she was like, yeah, life is scary. That's the thing about my mom. She doesn't give But then I was like, I really want, like, I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to buy a boat and sell the boat when I'm done with it. I want to buy a boat for the summer, sell the boat when I'm done with it. And I was like, I want to travel the world. And I want this. And she was like, you always have traveled the world. And you've always had nice clothes. And you've always had good food. She's like, stop acting like Gone Without. And I was like, I'm not acting like that. I just want that to be a reality on my terms and not because I got mommy's money, because I do have mommy's money, but I don't want to use my mom's resources. Like, I want that to come from me. I want to be able to like buy a boat with my money. I want to be able to buy a house with my money. I want to be able to eat at like any place that I want. Hop on a first class flight anywhere that I want, anytime that I want. I want freedom, creative freedom, financial freedom. Physical freedom. I just want to be free. And I feel like I don't have to choose. I really feel like in this lifetime I don't have to choose between freedom and depth and stability. I don't have to choose. I feel like my entire life is about navigating that tension between multiple opposing truths. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when at this point.